we are doing. Thank you once again for inviting me, asking me to moderate this program. It's an honor, and we are happy to be part of this process. And we are part of the journey too. Yes. So I'm going to ask a few questions so that people can get to know you. First of all, I'll read your profile. Um, so for those who don't know you, I know many of the people who are here today are your friends, family members. But for those who might not know you, I'm just going to read your profile briefly. Deji Yesufu is an ordained pastor of Providence Reformed Baptist Church, Ibadan. He's a theologian, an electrical engineer by profession. He has a master's degree in electrical engineering and a master's degree in radiation protection. He's a blogger, a husband of one wife, Dr. Jola Yesufu. She's also here with us somewhere in the background. And the father of two children, Desola and Sholua. They're also here in the background. He blogs at textandpublishing.com. He's committed to publishing articles on various issues around life and faith. Deji's first book, Victor Banjo, was published in 2018. The book tells the story of a Nigerian prolific officer caught up in eastern Nigeria during the Civil War and having to fight against Nigeria on the Biafran side. Deji has written numerous articles, many of which are published in national dailies, some on popular blogs and others on various social media outlets. He considers himself an opinion molder who centers his ideas around the Christian faith and how the gospel message can better the lot of men, both in this life and in the life to come. And I would like to add that Deji Yesufu is a very brilliant writer. I've had the privilege of seeing him, write on. Okay, so Deji Yesufu is going to be reading from his book. He's going to be picking a chapter to read from his book, after which we would invite our reviewers to review the book. Thank you very much.
Another Andrew absconds. He is a young and upcoming Nigerian professional, a smart young man with a small family, very well educated. He has worked in this country, faithfully contributing to the uplift of society for close to a decade. Unfortunately, he has been a victim of our nation's insecurity, poor medical institutions, and general backwardness. I learned just 2 days ago that Andrew has ditched Nigeria. He simply took his young family and left, another loss to Nigeria and an addition to other working economies. In the past, I have criticized people who flee the country in my writings. I've made high-sounding statements about those of us who choose to stay behind to fix this country, while at the same time insinuating that those who leave are not man enough. Well, I withdraw those statements today. There's nothing wrong with those who leave Nigeria. Instead, there seems to be everything wrong with this country. While I still do not have a strong reason to ditch Nigeria, I can no longer criticize those who do. A discussion between a friend and I led to the conclusion that most corrupt persons in Nigeria are faceless individuals working in the Nigerian civil service. Some of them may be reading this right now. My friend tells me of how civil servants circumvent the Nigerian system and load themselves up with revenues that ideally should go to the government coffers for the country's development. Chris Adetayo published on Facebook a conversation he had with a civil servant friend in the early days of the Buhari government. How this person finally realized that the sum he received as salary was meager, since for a long time he had been living off funds stolen from government coffers. I'm told that civil servants like this have since recovered and are back to robbing the country blind again. Some time ago, we were told that there was a new sheriff in town, but Nigerian civil servants have since rendered this sheriff clueless. No country advances with our kind of organized corruption. A nation's wealth is meant for all and not for a few. One factor of a truly working country is that attention its government pays to the weak. Somebody once spoke on radio and told the story of how his late father, who had fought for Britain in the Second World War, was still receiving a pension up until the time he died. His allowances were always sent to him in Nigeria. Nigeria treats its retirees like scum. It has no social security for the poor. If one happens to be disabled in this country, one is as good as finished. Children under 5 are still dying en masse, and the nation has one of the highest maternal mortality rates in the world. The elderly people have no homes to live in when their children flee the country, and you expect Andrew to remain? Despite the gloomy picture, some of us are constituted to remain and fix this country. We can get it right. We can start with our families and begin to do the right things. We can start teaching our children what is right and wrong. Then in our offices, we can choose to be different. We can choose not to partake in the wrath. Then our religious houses can begin to teach the true tenets of the faith. Christianity and Islam, the two prominent religions in this country, can teach sufficient moral lessons to end this suffocating corruption in our body polity. We can fix this country. The good part of remaining in Nigeria is that as a developing country, Nigeria offers immense opportunities for many to make it straight and square here. In developed economies, the best a foreigner can be is a second-class citizen. But Nigeria offers immense opportunity for its people in the sciences, literature, arts, and business sectors. If our young people can endure the harsh realities of this country, this is the place to make it. But I understand that second-class citizen status in another country is all that most Nigerians need. At least there will be food, consistent power supply, security, and a dependable health system. You cannot blame them too much when they leave. We hope that by some act of divine mercy, Nigerians will rise to fix this country, or else this country will fix us. Right now, my mentor constitution says not to criticize Andrew anymore. It also says to stay and help fix the country. But you can never say what tomorrow will bring. Whatever it does, I will be sufficiently updating you, even if it means sending out an article as I board the plane to leave the country, as other Andrews have done. So help us God. By the way, Andrew was the guy in an early 1980s TV advert. In the clip, he is seen complaining to a friend about the state of Nigeria. There is no water, no light, no so on and so forth. Man, I'm checking out. Then someone says in the background, Andrew, and urges him and other Nigerians to remain and fix the country. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you very much, Mr. Yesufu, for that. So back to my question. The question I asked about the Japa syndrome. So you can answer it now. Are you saying that youth should not?
Well, nobody knows the situation with most people. I will usually not encourage, what do they call it? I will usually not encourage dictating to anybody. You know, I have dear friends. Some of them are outside the country, and I'm looking at one right now, you know, who have had to make the decision to leave Nigeria, and I know their situation. So everybody knows their situation, you know, but I am 100% certain of this thing, that not every one of us is meant to be out of this country. In fact, I opened the book by talking about Russia, where almost 90% of the citizens don't own a passport. They don't need to leave their country. The only people who leave are probably people who have to go and work outside the country. So why is everybody leaving? You know, so well, if we have to leave because of some maybe health concerns, or we have to work better and earn better, it's not wrong. But most people who are leaving, I'm so certain, are not supposed to leave.
Okay. We'll come back to that thought, because this is going to result in a debate.
Yes, we're going to have an open floor afterwards.
Yeah, exactly. We have an open floor.